Following some breaking news out of the Middle East here right now, I wanted to put up this post on your screen from Fox News. The United States is withdrawing some personnel from key bases in the region as a precaution, given heightened regional tensions. That's according to U.S. officials speaking to Reuters today on the condition of anonymity. The disclosure follows remarks by a senior Iranian official who told Reuters earlier today that Tehran had warned neighbors hosting U.S. troops that it would hit American bases if Washington strikes. Some personnel at a key U.S. military base in Qatar have been advised to evacuate by this evening. Now, that decision came as a senior official in Iran brought up an earlier Iranian attack there. That official, who also spoke to the Associated Press today, described the move at the airbase in Qatar as a precautionary measure. The official wouldn't go into any further details about the move, including whether the evacuation was optional or mandatory, if it affected troops or civilian personnel, or the number of those advised to leave, citing the need for operational security. And that post on your screen there is from a Reuters reporter as well. In response, Qatar said today that such measures were being undertaken in response to the current regional tensions. And I also wanted to put up this post here on your screen, and this is coming from Qatar's media office. If you'd like to read it in full, I'll take down this banner for you here. Now, the Pentagon declining to comment on questions about the move. It comes as anti-government protests in nearby Iran continue, and President Trump has said that he is willing to conduct military operations in the country if the government continues to retaliate against the protesters. That base, which hosts thousands of U.S. service members, was targeted by Iran in June in retaliation for U.S. strikes on its nuclear facilities. Iranian and Qatari officials had spoken just yesterday amid the deadly crackdown in Iran and America's escalating threats to intervene if protesters are not spared. Now, the secretary for Iran's Supreme National Security Council had a phone call with Qatar's prime minister. In a statement on X, Qatar's prime minister said that he, quote, reaffirmed the state of Qatar's backing of all de-escalation efforts as well as peaceful solutions to enhance security and stability in the region. Now, just to provide some more context here, this comes after the head of Iran's judiciary signaled today there would be fast trials and executions ahead for those detained in nationwide protests, despite that warning from President Trump. The comments from Iran's judiciary chief come as activists had warned hangings of those detained could come soon. Already, a security force crackdown on the demonstrations has killed at least 2,571. That's the latest number we have there from the U.S.-based human rights activist news agency report. That figure is larger than the death toll from any other round of protest or unrest in Iran in decades, and recalls the chaos surrounded by the country's 1979 Islamic Revolution. As we've been saying here, President Trump repeatedly has warned that the United States may take military action over the killing of peaceful protesters just months after it bombed Iranian nuclear sites during a 12-day war launched by Israel against the Islamic Republic in June. Meanwhile, today, Iran held a mass funeral of 300 security force members killed in the demonstrations. Tens of thousands of mourners attended, holding Iranian flags and photos of Iran's supreme leader.